All right, we are live. Looks like audio is working. Couple of people in stream already. Hello to anyone who's here. Um, Welcome back to the room with the computer in it, and some possible computer-related things that I'm doing. Got like such good plans for what I'm doing. I have no idea actually. I think it's been so long since I actually sat down in front of something akin to a game engine because I was doing some stuff with Godot, and I think I finished a tutorial on it. Um, but I've mostly forgotten what I was doing with it. So I think I've got to get back into that and also decide what I'm actually going to do, which will be figuring out some mechanics and deciding exactly how to implement those mechanics. So I think one of the first things that I did when I was making a prototype, I think I vibe coded one in C, and it was about interpreting code. So people could type in things and you can interpret it. I don't know whether we're gonna go for typing in the game or some kind of system to have maybe instructions that you can drag around and do things with. Not sure. Um, but might as well hop into Godot and have a look. It's kind of like I don't know where to start. It's kind of funny. Oh wait, I clicked run on this project, which is running the actual game executable. Let me go back to this. So what was it? Arrow keys? Okay, right. So that was the game, the the tester game. I can open this project now. Oh, I forgot I have a semicolon bracket count, which is pretty funny. Right. Where should I wonder where I should get started for a new thing. I guess it's nice to have all of this stuff here. Okay. Let me make a plan because looking at that, that's the 23rd of the 6th. It's now the 21st of the 7th. Which is why I feel rusty, because it's been a month since I last streamed, which is quite funny. I don't know. I know that I'd missed some streams, but I don't know how many. Obviously, it's been most of a month, and the last stream that I did was me baking in my kitchen, so it's a very, very different stream. There's no one actually watching at the moment. I'm just here alone. Maybe I'm just recording this for people to watch later if they want to watch, but we'll see how it goes. I guess. I guess if no one comes along, um, I may just let the stream go, and I'll do some stuff later, or I'll just do stuff on my own offline. So I'm going to make some plans, stuff around for the next kind of 10-15 minutes or so, I think. And I guess if no one's coming along, I may just wrap it up and go and do something else. Okay. Plans for necessary game mechanics. And the first thing we need is some kind of coding interface. Um, Text or visual. Um, I guess I'll leave it there. I'll put more details in afterwards if I'm going to put more details in. Otherwise, the other thing is the visual game world, um the restaurant, um and also not just that, but let me think. The engine that runs the code and makes things work. So this is kind of like the thing that takes the code and makes the rules work, I guess. And here we've got the ability to create code, then the ability to run the code, which is like kind of like a play, pause, reset, I guess would be the way that I would do it. Because I think if we can keep it simple, it's just like, okay, execute the code that's given, and then that sends the code in a sense to the game world, and then the game world is the engine that then runs the code. And we've sort of got a character in that a lot of the representation of what we're doing is chicken moving around in the world. So if we keep this super simple, we need the ability to show code happening, and then I guess mark the lines on it, and then have something happen in the world. You know what would be funny? Godot text-based into text-based game. So it would be interesting to see if people already have stuff. Student developing as a hobby here and saying they just found out about it. Can you do text-based games? All you really need is a line edit for user input and a rich text label to display the text. Even comes with a scroll bar. You can put images, other effects in it. Right. So we can definitely do text-based things. That's good to know. More details about using text as an interface. That might not be exactly what we want, but should be able to make it work anyway. Okay. So, what am I fiddling with tonight? Let's see if we can do something with this coding interface in the... Like, we'll keep it simple to begin with, and it'll just be like, can we make something that creates text? Okay, I think I need a new project. Oops, I just press quit instead of... That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so we create a project. I feel like I'm not in a position to do the whole game right now. But instead what I will do is do an experiment in this kind of coding interface. So I'm going to create a project called coding interface, and then figure out somehow how I'm going to make this work. So I'm going to be in 2D. Here's my window. Gosh, it's been a while. Okay. So I wonder what I need to get started. Wait, where was I a second ago? Nope. I thought I had more options here a second ago. All right. What do I want? I want like a text. So someone said there was a rich text. Nope. Oh, no, that's not it. The ability to add nodes. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Rich text label. That was the thing that could show a bunch of text. All right. So we have the ability to show text here. And we go in the inspector and we can go hello world. So we can see that we've got a default text here and that's working. Oh, hello. Oh, you're here to say hello, but nobody's here. I don't know if anyone's actually in the stream or just watching later, but here's Chicken. Wonder what's up tonight. People are not around? Let me at least check. I mean, I am streaming, right? Anyway. Let's keep working things. Okay, so what I've got is I have a text field that can do some things. One moment. And then I will have some buttons that control the actual execution of the code. So the text field can have whatever it needs to have in it, and then we'll figure out how I'm going to be like editing things and stuff like that. And then let us add some buttons. Ooh. Oh, dragging the wrong thing. Okay, let's. Oh, wait. I'm adding these things in the wrong places. The button. Should the button be a child node of the text label? I mean, kind of. It's sort of attached to it. Let's see what happens. So I'd have to connect up signals and things like that. Let's add another one. So this one's going to be our play button. Pause button. Or how about we just go reset? So we have one that executes things and one that resets it. Oh, I wonder why this only appears in some places. Oh, maybe as a child node of the hello world thing, it can only appear if it's inside it. That doesn't entirely make sense. Okay, let's play and reset. Yeah, it does look like it's inside it. Okay, we'll just leave them there for now. We're not too worried about um not too worried about what they look like or the layout or anything like that. I think I just need to get some functionality. So we need to be able to edit the things that are in this box. So let's go back to searching stuff. Editable text box. Let's see. People are saying how to create a text box and read from it, so that's something to look into. Line edit. Interesting. I wonder if line edit is not what I want, but I want something where the whole text field. I wonder if that's something that's not really done in games. But anyway, let's see. There's a thing called text edit. Multi-line text editor. Okay, good. This exists. Limited facilities for editing code, such as syntax highlighting support. More advanced facilities for editing code, see code edit. Should I use that? I mean, let's just go for it, right? Multi-line text editor designed for editing code. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So this thing, I wonder if I can change its type. I feel like that's the kind of thing you can't do after it's been created. So the rich text label is not the right thing. I think when I delete this, it's going to delete the buttons, but let's do it anyway. I didn't spend that long making them. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know what control is, but I assume that's like a parent node that everything just sort of hangs off. Code edit. So here's my code edit window. I wonder what this does. I'm just gonna run it and see what happens. Ah, nice. Okay. Good. Okay, so that's the thing where I can write code, and then if I click on the buttons that I have to remake, we then have some kind of interpretation, and then things are going to move around over here. I'm feeling very lonely tonight. There's nobody watching stream live. I guess the regulars are busy. Okay. So we have the equivalent of the code edit area. Oh, hey Mitchell. I was wondering if people were going to come along or not because it was very quiet for a bit. I am doing some kind of prototypey stuff where I'm trying to test out if I can implement some basic mechanics and stuff like that in Godot. Um, Going pretty well. The cake was okay. It wasn't great. I was like, I've had like two or three slices of it, and I'm just like, oh, I think I might throw the rest of it away. I mean, it was fine. It baked fine and everything like that, but I just didn't particularly like the flavor of it or anything. I know that the next thing that I have to bake is like a brownie mix, so I may end up baking a bunch of brownies next time. Oops. So I'm trying to create this thing. So this is the play button, and this is the reset button. I don't have that much of an idea actually how the structure behind this even works. But what play is going to do is it's going to read whatever's been written here and then execute it. So I need to connect these things up via a script. Gosh, it's been so long. I don't even remember how to do simple things like that. Okay. Do I go to Google for this? Oh, actually no, I've got the API here. So, properties of the text edit. Methods. I wonder if there's a way to just grab the text out of it. There's a lot of stuff in this code editor. Maybe this is more complicated than I need. Get folded line seems to be useful. It gives you an array, but that seems to be an array of integers, so maybe that's not. I feel like I am. I feel like because it was a month ago when I finished the tutorial that I have no idea what I'm doing at the moment. So, let us clarify thoughts. First mechanics prototype. What's it got? You can type in text. There's a play and reset buttons. Hey Mitchell. Yeah, yeah. At least I'm looking at doing something which is actually the genuine mechanics of the game, which I haven't done yet at all. Okay, so you can type in text as a play and reset buttons. Play reads the text It carries out any commands. So this is basically the code interpreter. Um, reset returns the game world to the starting state. So it's kind of like the text defines a state machine that we go through based on the instructions in the text, which is kind of what a program is. It's a bit of a stretch, but you know, in a lot of senses, you think of code as defining a finite state machine that that when you execute a program, you will actually follow that state machine. Okay, so let us think about some really, really simple text because we don't care about the complexity of the language. This is about getting the sort of the back end of everything working. So, oh wait. Let's just go like simple. Go left, right, up, down. Or we could actually just start with just go left and right because up and down is the same thing, but just a bit just more duplication. So if we say go left and right, then we have something that can just move left and right based on whatchamacallit, based on the instructions it's given. And then this is going to need a game world. So chicken is the main character. She moves on a square grid. Okay. I think if that's all we have, it's enough because like all of this structure has to come together to make this work. So you have the game world, and the game world, there's going to be a script behind all of this. Do they call them scripts? I think they do. Anyway, that reads the text and... Oh, did you go back, Mitchell? So Chicken came past before. She hopped on my lap for a bit and said hi. Yeah, what was I going to say? So we have the text field. We can type in it. When we press the play button, we carry out the commands that are written here. So for example, we can say go left, go right, and in executing those things, this is the interesting thing, is we're then going to need some kind of animation engine. There's actually lots of bits and pieces. We need some kind of animation engine here. Or what we do is we don't worry too much about that just yet. But, you know. Okay. So, we are at the point where if I run this, we are able to edit in here. So we're able to create instructions. The buttons are clickable, but obviously they don't do anything because they're not connected to anything yet. I've got to remember the basics, so I need a script to do this. Text behavior, icon behavior. No, that's just like what it looks like. Do I want the script on the button? I have a feeling I don't want the script on the button. I just want the button to send out a signal, which the code edit thing here, oops, I just zoomed out. The code edit thing here will do stuff. And I do want to have also a game object over here. I wonder if they actually have character objects. Character body 2D. Yes, very good. And this says node has no shape, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. I don't think I want a collision 2D shape. I don't know. Make static. I wonder what that does. Anyway, actually, you know what? Let's not create that yet. One thing at a time. Okay. We have the text field. And we have the play and reset buttons. So we want the buttons to send out a signal, and like this was totally in the in the last teaching demo that I had that was actually teaching me how to do this. So I wonder if, let me save this and go quit to project list. And open this one. I'm pretty sure this one had buttons. Dodge the creep, start. Yes. Okay, so the start. I thought, I can't remember. Okay, there's timers. Start position. Did the HUD have a bunch of other stuff in it? Oops. It doesn't appear to have any child nodes. Mitchell saying this is why I always take notes for stuff like, yeah, right? Because it's like, I don't know what I did to get started on these things. Okay, there's a main. HUD.gd. So here's its script. Okay. Dodge the creeps. Start button, hide. Okay, so this thing is linked to a start button. But I don't see where the start button is as a node in the scene. So maybe it's not a node in the scene. Having to find stuff from an old project after doing it ages ago is so annoying. Yeah, right. I nearly need to go and do the tutorial again. I'm like, I don't want to just recreate a stream that I did before. Okay, let's see if there's something really simple where it's like Godot simple code interpreter example. Okay. Language interpreter for coding game. Okay. If you don't want to if you don't write the code yourself, figure out what other people did. Trying to make a game when the user writes code, points the game to their file, and the game runs that code. Code would need to be able to communicate with the game, calling functions, getting info, whatever. What's the best way to do this in Godot? That's a bit more than what I'm doing, but there might be answers here to help. Vibe code time. Yeah, actually, let me see, because I don't think they vibe code directly in here. But if I go Visual Studio, that was me editing my Cyberpunk settings. Okay, so let's see how we co-pilot with, Actually, can we just start talking to it? I might not even have to do the editing in Visual Studio. I could just do the conversation in Visual Studio. Okay, okay. I'm using the Godot game engine. So just to set up context. Yes. Okay. Just copy code into the prompt. Yeah, yeah. So if I have code, I can copy the code into the prompt. But what I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to leave this project. And instead of asking it how the other project works, I'm going to tell it what I want to do with this project. And see if it can help me. Okay. So I will say I have a code edit node. That has a button as one of its children. When I click that button, I'd like to read the lines in the code edits text field and interpret the lines of code. Also weird that this is free. Like, how am I getting this for free? Okay, reference to your code edit node. Connecting the button's pressed signal to a function that reads the lines from the code edit node. Here's how you do in GD script. Okay. Extends node, reference to your code edit node. Code edit equals this. The button is that button. Ready, button connect. On button pressed. And then on button pressed, you take the code text and then you split it on new lines. And for each line, you interpret. Wow. Okay, good. Code edit text gets the full text. Splits it into those. Let me know if you want help with interpreting the code or handling specific logic. Okay, so this is good code. I just need to... I hope that copies all of it. So I need to create a script. New script. Code edit. Okay, so I don't think it's extends node, but this is good. So this means that these variables are going to have to point to something. So I think once I put this into the inspector, I can link them up. I'm going to call this played button, and that's a code edit. And then on the ready, we connect the play button, which I've since renamed. Play button connect, if it's pressed, then it connects to on button pressed. And then we have this function, on button pressed. Okay, we do have... That's gone red. Use space character for indentation instead of tab as used before. And oh, because I copy pasted, so it doesn't think that these are... Yep. I'm trying to delete the spaces as I do this. Okay, that's good. This one says invalid argument for connect. Argument 2 should be callable, but is the code edit. Oh, okay. Self doesn't necessarily work there. Okay, so can we get to... No, that's fine. Okay, we've got some errors on line 9. So the connecting the button thing is something that the Copilot doesn't know. And it's this one. And self is the code edit window. I guess will you look this one up? Because this should be simple. I feel like this is like the basics that I don't understand yet. Okay, to connect a button, select the button node in the scene dock, navigate to the node, and double-click the pressed signal. Oh, I feel like this is going to auto-generate. I'm just going to call this play. It doesn't need to say execute. Okay, play button. Play button's over here. Okay, there's nothing about connection here, but I think there was... nope. What did it say? Select the button node in the scene dock. Navigate to the node tab. Oh, node tab. Oh, these are the signals. Yes. Okay, good, good, good. Starting to come back to me. Okay. Double click the pressed signal, then choose the node containing the script you want to connect to and the method you want to execute when the button is pressed. Good. Okay, so we've got on button pressed here. Let me just put this back in a state where that is now a valid script. Okay, so play node, button pressed, connect that to code edit, on play pressed, on button pressed, and we connect that. And it's got this thing saying stuff's coming in from the outside. Okay. I'm gonna save that. Come back out to my 2D and let's just run this and see if that actually works. So invalid access to property or key text on a base object of type null instance. Right. Okay. So I'm going to work on the assumption that the script here is not properly connected because it had these, which means the variables weren't actually connecting to the actual things. I think it might be because this is called button, but it does not. This is not a real thing because it's called play. I don't know if there's like just they find themselves by names or anything. Oh, ZB, hello. You're lurking today for assignment woes. Oh, it's Halogen. Hello. No one saw anything. All good, all good. I also have two accounts because I've got one that I just use to watch random stuff, and then I've got my publishing account. Okay, so oh wait, I edited the wrong one. It's this one. So if I just give it its name, maybe that gets rid of the null. Oh wait, that's running. Okay, let's try running that again. Game starting here. Press play. Invalid access to property key or key text on a base object of type null instance. So code text is null. Code text is equal to code edit dot text. Code edit is equal to this code edit. You're watching things account. Need your name to be recognizable in chat account. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I forgot how to attach items to scripts so that in this variable, this is attached to these objects and these buttons. Okay. Let's figure out how to do that, I think. Or we don't figure out, we just ask. Oh, I had no punctuation. I guess GPT will figure it out though. Attach code to the actual scene. You need to make sure your script is attached to a node that is a parent or ancestor of the code edit node in your scene tree. Yes, code edit reference will reference a child node named code edit. Okay. So I think the issue is that the script is in the thing itself. So this is self. Maybe. We'll see. And then this, if it's referencing a child, it can just have its name. We'll see. Yes! All right. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but down here, it's saying one line is go left and the other line is go right. So we have text in our field. The field is editable. When we press the play button, it goes through the lines here, and it's reading them, at least. So it's here. So all the stuff that we do for interpreting what we see goes in here. So at this point, what we need to do is to read that text, get some valid instruction out of that text, move that on into the game world, and have the actual character in the game world do things. So now we see that these connections are actually working. So the code edit variable connects to the actual text editor field that I had in there. And then if you say $, you're going down the path into stuff like child nodes and things. I don't know how these things connect to each other if they're not directly related objects. So it's getting a bit cold again, putting a jacket on. So if, for example, I am now in a situation where I want to connect something in this function, in the on button pressed function, when it starts to do its do its interpretation of the code and do stuff, can I attach this to another game object that I've created that's not necessarily in the same hierarchy? I have a feeling that maybe I can't, because I don't want the character. I actually don't need this to be a character, because I think one of the elements of characters is like bounding boxes and physics and stuff like that. So instead of doing that, if I just do this as an image or a sprite or a node 2D game object, position, rotation, scale, and skew, general purpose sprite node. I wonder if I should have remembered this, right? Like, it's so funny because if I'd done all of my testing and stuff like that, um, or all my learning about how to do stuff earlier, not earlier, but all in one go, and then started doing this, I think I'd remember all this stuff more easily because I definitely learned how to use the sprites and stuff like that, but I can't remember anymore. Okay. So let's go super simple interpreter. If line, what language am I even writing anymore? Go left. Do we have an else if? Yes. Where was my uppercase and lowercase? Hmm. Is that even the right syntax? Expected indented block after if block. The indented block is there, but I haven't written any code for it. So we are going to copy this. I don't know how to access this sprite 2D. It's not in our tree. Unless we go up and back down. I don't even know how to do that. You can tell me, Copilot. Current hiking to load or instantiate using Godot's resource system. Load the scene resource. Instantiate the scene. Add the instance to the scene tree. Add child. Maybe I need this thing to not be the thing that's holding the scripts. So instead of this script being in here, clear, we have it in here. New script? No. Okay. In which case, it's not self. It's code edit. Oh, that auto-completed. And this is code edit play. And I'm not going to call this sprite 2D. I'm going to call it chicken. This should auto-complete. Yes. Okay. So the control script sits at the very top, and then all of the components are different children of it. So chicken is a child, and chicken exists in this other world, which I should probably figure out where chicken is. Is that? Because it doesn't have an image. Texture is empty. let us figure out. Oh, you know what I should do? I'm just gonna see in my sketchbook here whether the drawing I did was good enough. I mean, we just need a placeholder for now. So what I will do is grab this image and take a close-up photo of the bit of chicken there, and we'll hop into something else. Do I have GIMP on this computer? I mean, I think I sent this photo somewhere, right? Just checking Discord. Oh, it's gonna be like a billion years ago. So let's just take a new photo. Grab my bright light here. That looks pretty funny up on screen at the moment. So what I'm doing right now is like taking a photo of that drawing, a small part of that drawing with my phone. Okay. So, got the photo. I will put this incredibly bright light away. Benefits of having a whole bunch of miniature painting gear lying around is you have a super bright light to do stuff like that. Okay, so I have the photo. Discord search fields. I probably should have just done something like that. Hey. All good though, because I have my image of a drawing of chicken. It does not look very good. Hang on. This is a boring bit because I'm actually just on my phone right now, just cropping the photo. Because this doesn't have to be good. This is just like vague representation at the moment. Like, it's not even like super important. Okay. You know, the most annoying thing sometimes is just like, okay, I got this photo on my phone. How do I get it to my PC? And I'm just like, if I was on a Mac, then yeah, I'd just airdrop this thing. But like, I'm not, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this in a hilarious way. I'm just gonna send it to Discord and then download it. That's gone into our Discord. Oh wow, that looks kind of horrendous. I guess that wasn't in focus when I took that photo. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. We're gonna use it. We're gonna use it. Okay. Chicken Sprite. Where did I just save that? Oh well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Okay, so chicken here. Sprite. I should copy it into this resources. So did I put it in downloads? I did. Okay. Drag that in there. Okay, chicken sprite's now in Godot. Bit fiddly, but should be fine. So, ooh. Too much, too much, too much. Here. Load chicken sprite. Okay, So the sprite is a little bit too large for the game right now. It is taking up. Oh, so it doesn't matter too much if it's a little out of focus and things, because it's going to get a whole lot smaller. Okay. I didn't preserve the rate aspect ratio. Just tweak it until it looks about right. Okay. And what we have here is, in this world, the sprite now exists somewhere in this world. Very good. Very good. I was just saying, a Discord server with no one but myself for taking notes and sending images between computer and phone is very common. Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, often, like, at work, I've got, like, a Slack channel. It's just me. And dump notes in there. Or even worse, I'll just take random notes on my computer. Okay. So, we have the sprite. We have the sheet of commands. Oh, script inherits from native type code edit, so it can't be assigned an object of type control. Okay, so I don't think this script needs to extend code edit. I think it can extend node and we won't care. Let's see if that's a problem. Control. Still saying the same thing. Is it? Oh, it's because I was running it. Yep, okay. Variable play button has the same name as a previously declared variable. Oh, God. That's what you get when you just copy paste a line and don't think about it. Oops. Okay, save that. Run that again. Game starting. Expected indented block after if block. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because I've linked up chicken here, so now I can say chicken dot I wonder if we have something simple as global position seems good. Or just position. Transform. Yeah, which of these things am I going to use to move it? Transform or position? Let's ask the vibe code as well. If I want to move a 2D sprite, what's the best method to use? Position property. Okay. Smooth movement. Update the position of the process delta or the physics process delta function. Okay. Okay. So, what I can do... Don't know why I clicked on that. I was wondering about things like this script being attached to the control with these variables. I'm used to doing stuff like in Unity, where when you'd say these variables, you'd mark them as like being in the editor, and then you could like drag and drop objects into those. But let's not worry too much about that just yet. I wonder if there's any... None of these input? No, okay. Let's not worry too much about it because it's connected and it's working. Okay, so chicken.position minus equals 100 pixels. The only downside to this is these two are the inverse of each other. So when it runs this thing, oh wait, I keep leaving this thing running. Um, when it runs this, chicken's gonna end up in the same position. We're probably not gonna see, like, we're probably not gonna have a frame in between where chicken moves to the left and to the right. So we're not even gonna see it. Having said that, press play, nothing happens. If I take out the go right. Oh. Okay. Something's not working. Where's my output? Oh no, there is no output because I did not I took out the print statements, and I might put them back in just for the oh, it's just print. That's very simple. I'm going to say left. This one's going to print right. Just to make sure that I haven't broken something and this thing is still actually interpreting. Interesting. I'm not getting the output anymore. So, what did I change? I changed where the script was. Oh, hey. That's it. I connected this to a script. That was in code edit. Code edit no longer has a script. Control has a script, so the signal was sending to the wrong object. Right. Okay. So this now has on play pressed, which is actually a better name for it than on button press. So I'm just going to copy my code into here, and then on button pressed goes away because it was not actually a good name for something anyway. Oh, and we don't want pass. Okay, okay. So now oops. Invalid operands, vector 2, and int. Oh, oops. Position.x. Oh, I'm not sure. Can you hear someone else's voice in the background? I can hear my partner talking out there. I'm not sure if her voice is coming in or not. If it is, I will shut the door. Or maybe I should shut the door so that I don't want her to accidentally say something public. Not that she's gonna be like, hey, our address is such and such and such or anything, so it's probably not a problem. But just in case, because she doesn't know that the microphone might pick her up, because it's very quiet tonight. So, okay, so Chicken's exposition should change, and we should get the printout saying that things are working. So let's try running that again, see what happens. Okay, left and right. We don't see a change here because it's going back to the same position. Hey, nice. Okay, so we have super simple prototyping, but honestly, if we want to test gameplay working, then this is fine. I do want to make this nicer than this though. So instead of it instantly jumping, I want to get some kind of animation thing going. So each line of the um each line of the code should take like, half a second or something to animate. So what I'm going to do is, instead of directly manipulating the position, because I feel like directly manipulating the position um is a bit much. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? We want some kind of timer thing. Okay. Okay, so what I want is I want an animation timer. And I want this process. And what I'm going to do is linearly interpolate chicken towards a target. So, I need to write this down. Okay. Okay. Animations. Wow, it's exactly where my cursor was. Animations. Okay. Set chicken's target position. Set a timer. To count down, let's say half a second. Because it doesn't need to be that long. I just need like half a second's fine to prove that it works. Okay, so set the target position, set the timer countdown to half a second. Interpolate chicken's position from current to target. When the timer finishes, stop moving and move on to next line. Okay, so how do we structure this? Hang on, I need that on my other monitor so that I have my instructions available for myself to see. Okay. So, chicken should have a target position. The question is, do I have separate code, like a separate script on chicken that runs this, or do I control everything from in this control thing? It feels like it might be okay to just dump everything in the one file now and work with it, but long term, probably not the best idea. Having said that, this is not the game. This is an experiment to get some mechanics going, so it's probably okay if I put it in here. So let's have a variable. I keep wanting to put a type on this thing, but like, okay. Oh, I guess I could. I could make this a vector2. Do we have constructors? We do. Or should I make it null? Can you make it null? No, we can't make a null vector. Is this a null vector? We'll figure out if I can't change it later. Okay. So, if we have go left, then we say, I feel like what I'm doing here is very kinda not good. Like, I can't just have this chicken target as like this floating variable. It should be like chicken should be an object, and this should be a whatchamacallit, like a sub variable of this. So chicken needs her own script. where we can then declare public variables in the same way that here you go chicken dot position is this. We want to say chicken dot target. Okay. And I have no idea how to do this because chicken as a sprite 2D, I don't know how to add variables to add like public variables to that, but I assume it's going to be extend sprite 2D and then stuff like that. But would they even call them public variables? It's like parameters, characteristics or something. Oh well, I'll just ask it like this and see. Public variables to a sprite 2D. Declare them at the top of your script attached to the sprite 2D node. Okay, good. That's what I thought it was. All variables are public by default unless marked export for editor visibility. So extend sprite 2D. I had that right. Variable this, and then export variable direction visible and editable in the editor. Oh, you can do stuff in the editor. So if you say export, then it goes into the editor. So this is on ready. Assigned when the node is ready. Values to these properties are not assigned immediately when the node is initialized. Instead, are computed. Wait, where'd they go? And stored right before node ready. Okay, so on ready is not really necessary there. But if I wanted to connect these things to these objects explicitly in the visual editor, then I could call this export. I love how I was like looking at the word, go, which word was it? It's not on ready, it's export. Okay, that's fine. So chicken will get a script. New script, chicken script. Extends sprite 2D. Variable target. Vector 2. We're going to set it to 0, 0 by default. But we'll have to change it when we do things. Okay, so the control script is codeedit.gd. That's not a good name for it. Anyway, we're prototyping. Okay, so now chicken has a target. Chicken.target is equal to, hang on, I'm gonna have to make a variable. So variable current position is equal to chicken.position. Then chicken target, I don't know, I'll move that current position. It's not actually the current position, it's like a temporary position. No, let's just do this the easy way. So, chicken target equals chicken position. Then chicken target dot x minus equals 100. Okay, that's much simpler than what I was going to do with a temporary variable and all this kind of stuff. So, we set the target to their current position and we say the new target is this. So this does not move them in any way, but this will move them. So I need some timers. So part of me is like, what I would do is set a time that is half a second in the future and then poll to see if we've reached that time or not. But I don't think that that's how Godot would do this. let's talk to Copilot again and see what they think. Are we using timers, or are we just gonna be blindly silly about it? Okay. On ready, variable tween is a new tween. So tween node, I assume that's short for in between. So it's going to be like adds a tween node as a child, animates the position property to the target position over half a second, starts the tween with play. You can adjust target position as needed. And then target position equals position plus this move 200 pixels to the right. So I have the target position variable set up as a property of chicken. And then the tween says between self and position over half a second. And then you play. All right, so it has its own like kind of animation engine. Oh, Mitchell, the timer is I want, instead of chicken to instantly jump between positions, to actually animate moving between those positions. So we could do it with this tween thing. And I also want it to not go back to the next point in the next line in the code interpreter. The timer is how long the animation runs. Yeah. So I want each of these movement animations to take a certain amount of time. And that way, if I have the actually, let's go back to the 2D view. If I have go left, go right, chicken doesn't stand still because she doesn't flash to the left and right faster than we can see. I want to see her move to the left and then move to the right. And that way we just get like a nicer kind of playback. Oh, I haven't done reset yet either. We'll do that soon. Let's not worry too much about reset. So the thing that I need to do to actually make this work nicely is have that animation happen, but importantly have this go right, not try to do something in the middle of it. So let me copy the logic of this. I am... This is weird because this is in function ready. So explicitly, the way that I would think about doing this is like putting it here in the process and kind of moving chicken towards the target location. But I feel like the tween is better because if I just explicitly move, I might overshoot the target. Whereas the tween, I think, is made to be able to do it. So let's try this. So we're going to... the thing is like add child. Is this going to add a new node every time? Or what we do is on ready, we add the tween. Or we go one better than that and we add it here. Animation player? That's weird that the tween doesn't exist. Which makes me think that Copilot's telling me stuff that doesn't exist. Anyway, let's I mean, it's totally here. Okay, so if I have a tween there, can I now go here and say tween dot tween? Oh, this is not, I'm not getting the same oh no, that exists. That exists. It just wasn't auto completing, but it does exist. Oh, if it's hallucinating. I think it wasn't hallucinating. I think my autocomplete was just slow here. So I think that's okay. This is really weird, this tween, because I feel like we're not actually creating a child of type tween because it didn't exist there. I think this add child tween is allowing us to access like a strict singleton, like a static tween somewhere, which is the thing that you can use to run animations. Tween is more suited than animation player for animations where you don't know the final values in advance. Yes, that's true, we don't. Example, a dynamically chosen camera zoom values with a tween. Okay, so I think this might work. Okay, so we go tween property. The first element is the sprite, which is chicken. So the first thing is object, and then there's a node path. Position. Oh, right. So this is saying that the control that you're tweaking is its position. And then let's see what it says here, but I reckon the next thing is going to be the target position. Yeah, it is. Chicken dot target. And then the timing. Invalid argument for add child function. Awkward. Must be something wrong. Oh! There's a variable there. That's why I was wondering why this thing wasn't auto-completing. So we create a variable called tween, which is an instance of... Right. Okay. That's why I was like, wow, why are we doing an add child that's like a capital? Okay, and then here we're using the instance of it, not the class. Okay, so this should work better. So now we have a thing that should navigate to the target. And let's just... I'm in the wrong language. Does that come under the semicolon bracket count? I think that's back to 0 for the moment, but then I just tried to comment out with // All right, let's not do anything with the go right. Let's just see if the go left does a smooth animation now. Or it crashes. Invalid type in function add child in base control. Object derived of class argument tween is not a subclass of the expected argument class. Not entirely understandable error message. So I can't use add child here. Do I even need to? Because it's a variable and it's already a tween. Expected indented block after function declaration. Oh, whoops. So many things happening at once. Me trying to save while it's running, while I've edited the script that's in flight. Okay. It is reading the lines of text. It knows what's happening, but it is not... Oh my god. You gotta read. I think the downside of vibe coding when you're inattentive is you don't read every single line and actually run it. Okay, so we set the target, we set the properties of the tween animation, and then we actually have to press play on it for it to actually animate. Simple things. Oh, no, we do not have any animation happening. Tween can't be created directly. Use create tween method. Right. What is the create tween method? Okay. Tween.new is throwing an error. Godot forks, you cannot create a tween with this. Instead, use the built-in create tween method on any node. Right. So it's not this one. Right, let's see if that works. It works! Nice. Okay. Reset doesn't do anything. Alright. Now we have the second issue here is if I simply copy... Oops. Don't drag stuff around. Wait. If I simply copy this into here, and we go plus 100 instead of minus 100, I'm interested to see what happens. Will this allow this animation to finish before starting this one? Or will they overlap and conflict with each other, and then the chicken ends up in limbo or wobbling back and forth? No. Only right-hand movement, which means that when the new tween is created, it's killing the old one. Let's see if there are two different tweens. This is... It's very dodgy code, but I'm just experimenting. No, okay. Only one tween can happen on a sprite at a time. So the second this other one triggers, it completely destroys this one. Well, I don't know if it destroys it, but it stops this animation from playing and replaces with this one. So it would, for a bare fraction amount of time, start animating towards the left, and then it's being taken over by the animation towards the right. Which means what we need to do is give this animation time to finish. So, can we tell when a tween finishes? I should put question marks on the end of these things. You can tell when tween finishes by connecting to its finished signal in Godot 4. Alright. Tween connect finished callable self on tween finished. And then on tween finished, print tween finished. Do we need locks? Yeah, right? I had two options here. Either I do a wait, like something really, really silly like this. Like, do I just wait half a second? They don't have wait. But you know, it's gonna have something where I could just lock this process for half a second explicitly, and it'd be like, it's half a second here, half a second here, should be fine. But I don't like that because it's not the same as saying the animation's finished. Like locking it for exactly the same amount of time, it's not always perfect. But yeah, so we can connect an on finished, and then we can say that you don't continue this for loop until the until you receive the signal. But that feels really manual. I think what you actually want to do is on the tween finished signal, or some kind of signal which is like interpretation finished, then you call another function that then goes to the next line or processes the next line. So on play pressed should not have this for loop in it. So the play button press should initiate the whole thing. So on the play button press is the point at which the code is split into lines and the lines are put into a buffer. Then you process those lines in the buffer in a separate function. And that separate function has something underneath it that processes a single line at a time and then waits for a signal before it processes the next line. Or even there's no function that processes multiple lines. There's a thing that is waiting for a signal, and when it receives a signal, then it processes the next line. I'm not sure. So the simple and like brute force mechanical way is just to wait for half a second. And I think we'd get a response out of this that felt right, but I don't know. Actually, I'm going to ask here. Is it possible to pause a script until it receives the tween finish signal? Yes, you can use the await keyword to pause a function until the tween finishes. Okay, I'm glad I asked. Variable tween property, this, await tween finished. Beautiful. That is way better, because this looks like it's built into the actual system. And I don't even know if I need to emit this signal, because they're not sending the signal. In fact, they didn't press play. So there's an error in there, but you know what? I'm just going to let that go. Okay. Oh, await is a JS thing. Right. Okay. So let's see if this works. So with await, what we should get is this animation will get to completely finish before the next iteration in the for loop is allowed to start running. Yes. Okay, so I've got a whole... Oh, you were thinking about await just as I was, yeah, just as I was like asking the question. Be good if it had like await or promises in here. Yeah, so I hope that's a good way of doing it, because this, if I had just done instead of await, if I had just done, say, pause for half a second, there's no guarantee that this thing had actually finished, because the half a second might not be exact, you know. And then you get into this weird situation and go, oh, what about if I wait for like half a second plus 0.01 of a second or something like that, just to make sure that this animation's definitely finished. But then it's not smooth, because await's better, because the second it finishes, then the for loop iterates. which is nice. And then this, the function of this just stops while the tween is playing. Okay, oops, too big. But let's play this massive sequence of left, right, left, right. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so that is our very, very simple idea of movement animation. I still think that this function is too big. So what we should have is something that interprets a single line, decides what the imperative kind of is, passes it to another function that then one of the functions is a movement one, which will have this logic in it, and another function is like some kind of other logic and stuff like that. So as I add more instructions, I do not want this on play pressed to be doing any work. On play pressed is just an initializer, should pass to another function. So let's start building that architecture. I don't know if I can't remember what the convention is for the underscore at the start, but all of the processes appear to have an underscore at the start, and I'm just like, okay, is that what it is? I'll just copy it. Process line. That's what I want to call it. Void function. It's not a void. No, it has an input. How do we do input in this? Can we actually say the type? Oh yeah, this one has type. So line. Do you have strings? Yes, you do. String. Good. I'm pretty sure they're strings. Text split. Give me my hover over. No? I'm going to assume and hope for the best. There's not much else the line could be. Ask Copilot. Yeah. Okay. No, it's all right. It's all right. All right. So going to do a little refactoring here. So for line inlines, process line. You know that thing where you just start saying the same word too many times? You're like line. I'm just like, I'm gonna get confused if I don't change some of these. Except the variable names and the function name, they all still make sense. Okay, so this is we get single line, and then in here we interpret each line. I don't need to say that. So if the line is go left, else if it's go right, do this. But I don't really want that because I'm going to have go left, right, up, down. Like there's going to be too much. So I would be reading the first word. I need to actually. Okay. Read first word. This is the command. Split where program flow goes on the command. Okay, so if line 0, oh, this is fraught with danger. People can put empty lines in here and cause problems, especially because this is like the player is going to be writing these. Having said that, we don't know for certain if the player is going to be writing text, or selecting objects and things. Let's just sort of go with it for now, because I can't be bothered doing the safe. No, this isn't tokenized. I can't just go line 0. Okay. I'm gonna assume Okay. Variable words is equal to line split on white space. This better work. I'm making so many assumptions here. Like, this is like that kind of coding where you're like, I'm only coding for the best possible input. Like, I'm not coding defensively in any way here. It's just like, all right, let's just assume this works. So we take the line, we split it into words using spaces. Then if our first word, and again, this is so unsafe, equals go, then we're processing a movement command. Also, I probably, once we get into actually doing things, we won't be giving explicit movement commands. It won't be go left, go left, go left, go right, go right, go right, or anything silly like that. It's going to be like go to rather than go. So it's going to be go to seat 3, talk to the customer, go to seat 4, talk to the customer. And so we won't be doing this explicit. But for the moment, if I want text stuff to happen, and then for it to translate into actual things happening, it's good practice to kind of put this structure together, even if it's not exactly what it's going to be. And this is really similar to the C example that I did previously, but it's just got nicer animation and stuff, and it's also in a proper engine. Okay, so if the word is go, we're processing a movement command, in which case we have another function. Move chicken. Do I want to process the word here or process the word here? No, let's go for it, and we'll just go direction is a string. So if we saw go, then we call, oh, let's just give you a pass for now so that you compile and autocomplete keeps working. Okay, so if the word is go, then we call move chicken, and the direction string is the second word. So dodgy. I just love how dodgy this is. I'm just like, oh, we're just assuming we've got 2 words here. We're not doing any safe processing of input and stuff. But we can do that later. I'm just going to not crash it for the moment. Because, yeah, we're going to assume that people will get this wrong at some point. But for the moment, we'll just explicitly go with these things, knowing that, we call it, sanitizing input will be needed later. Future Marc, can you do all the boring stuff about making sure the inputs are correct and giving error messages? Because this is the downside of teaching people how to code, is you have to give them error messages when their code is wrong. And I'm just like, oh, have I signed myself up for making an entire compiler in a graphics engine? Yeah, which I have, I think, which is awkward. But I keep it simple for now and just be like, yeah, here's the horrible thing. And then these things now are kind of deferred further in as well. So if it's go, we move chicken. And I think all of this, go back one, that bottom line doesn't need to be there. So this has actually all just been refactoring, really. If direction is left, Then we do this, else if direction is right, we do this. Okay, so this is better structure. Play pressed saves the text that was in the text editor and then says process this line by line. Passes this to the function that processes a single line. The thing that processes a single line reads the first word, which gives an idea about what the thing is going to be. And then if it's a movement command, it says call the movement thing, and then all the animation happens in the thing that says it's moving it. So we're much neater now. And I will test it, and it will immediately break. Yeah, I thought so. Actually, it was highlighted red. I should have seen that. Identify a word not declared in the current scope. Variable words, word. Okay, well done, Mark. Well done. Just forget the variable name that you just created. The immediate line afterwards. Oh, unable to write because we're still running. Yeah, okay. So, save this. Okay, this should be fine now. Okay. Oh. Oh no. We got a timing issue because this function goes here to await the tween finishing, but the process line function waits for nothing. And the for loop here also does not wait. So the wait is in this function, which this thing doesn't care about because it's called the function and then it's gone back to the start of its for loop and it's going through and calling the other function. So this is like forking a thread that starts the movement left. And then this thing keeps cycling immediately and then it goes to this, which cancels the whole... Okay, so the await is in here. Interesting. Implicit threading, where in some languages you would expect where if this await had happened, this function never returns to this function, so this function cannot keep going. And it should not return to this function until this one has finished its awaiting. Okay, alright, how do we change this? We make the tween global, and then we make process line wait for the tween finished. That doesn't make sense because not every command is going to have a tween. How do we block other threads with this when the threading is implicit and they're not even telling us that they're forking, but they must be, right? Because there's no way that this function can return in order the for line for the for loop to continue. It shouldn't be able to continue if this hasn't returned, and this shouldn't return until this returns, which then shouldn't return until this is finished. What a conundrum. There's things in here that I don't know about that I would argue I shouldn't have to know about. Locks. Have some kind of global lock so that this thing has to await that. There's got to be some way to do this in like signals and stuff like that, right? So I await the tween finished, and then when the tween's finished, I send a signal. This thing is awaiting another signal. Okay. Tell me how to send a signal within a script. This is my question is way too vague here, but we'll see. To send, emit a signal within a script in Godot, follow these steps. Signal, my signal, emit signal, optional data. That actually is going to work. That's so going to work. Okay. Signal next line. So we have a signal, and then this thing can emit signal. What did I call it? Next line. Do I need anything? Optional data. No, just optional. Okay, so we emit the signal next line, and this thing is awaiting the signal next line. I don't know. I don't know, but we can try. And I do like at least that this is all within the ecosystem of Godot. I'm not hacking it or doing anything silly with it. So hopefully what this means is this for loop can't progress until this thing has gotten its finished signal and said, we're ready to go to the next line. Also, then it becomes a generic signal that you emit at the end of any lines processing, and you're not specifically locked into like an animation signal, because there's going to be other things that have a delay but not an animation. So this is a generic signal that says you can go on to the next line. Let's see. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Good. Okay. It's funny, this whole like using your AI instead of your Google search, because I think that the paradigm that I learnt over the, I don't know, decades of being a professional engineer at different times was always the second monitor is your Google window. You end up on places like Stack Overflow and stuff like that, and you have to interpret the results. I feel it's much nicer to have an AI next to you where you can just go, give me an idea about this kind of thing, and then it kind of defers the whole looking up APIs and stuff like that. Because instead of having to search the APIs, it says, I think that this function is the thing that you're looking for. And it's like, okay, sweet, good stuff. Okay, so the nice thing as well about this is go left and right was setting a target position and then an animation, which means it doesn't have to be left and right. I could say go to the counter, go to the go to the customer in seat 2, and then you just set the position and you do the animation. And this can be a specific, what might be interesting is if this animation is not over time, but instead based on a static, not static, but a standard movement speed for chicken. And so we can have different length animations happen. This seems to be specific. And so I think that this style of animation is probably going to be incorrect if we want a consistent movement speed. But we'll figure that out later. So we've got directions, and we have the ability to do that. We need another kind of command in order to see the difference between different commands. So let's just do something really simple, because I can't be bothered taking more photos and making other sprites and things. But what we could do is say, like, go here and then act like you're picking something up. You're not picking anything up, but what I can do is I can say flip. So just flip the sprite. So it's like change your state and then move somewhere else and change your state and things, just so I can show going through and receiving different commands and executing those different commands, some of which are these long animation movement commands and other things like immediate. So if we had something like go here, pick up the plate, go here, put down the plate, I'm just going to put a generic command in place which changes kind of some of the stats and stuff. Oh, actually no, let's go all in. Let's see if I've got a picture. Did I draw a plate in the... No, I didn't. Actually, no, let's not. I'm going to do it more simply, but at least get the structure of things going. So, I'm going to have just a weird thing that turns chicken upside down. So, just does a rotation on chicken. So, it can be like spin upside down, go here, spin back up, spin upside down, go. And so that way I'm just showing that we can process multiple different commands. So, process the line, so nothing changes here, but here, so if word 0 equals flip. So it's just a generic thing, I think, that will flip it. And then we'll have a different function here. I'm already thinking I want to do more than this. Like, I should be like picking up objects and putting them down and stuff like that. But let's just get this going first. Actually, no. This is the second time I think I don't want to do it like this. I want to do the actual thing. So what would it be? Pick up, get, grab. I'm trying to do this with a single word, but no, let's just say pick. So if it's pick, then you pick something up. So if it's pick, we pick it up. And then we need in here variable holding. Then how do we know what we're picking up? So this is where this whole behavioral processing thing must link up with something else. It must link up with a world that has objects in it. So chicken moves around this space, but okay, it's all getting reasonably complicated now. We have some processing capability, but we have not populated this at all, which should be, instead of a just moving by pixels around here, you'd be moving to specific places. So this would be like slot 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever. And then you go to 1 or 2, and then you pick up an object from 1 or 2 and you place it at 0, or something along those lines. So I need a world that has a representation of space. Okay, I'm going to write this down because it's not getting finished right now. I'm looking at the time and I'm going, yeah. Okay. See, I've even got here, she moves on a square grid. Okay. So we can type in text. This is good. There's a play and reset button. Reset we don't have, but then we don't have a game world to reset. So I could put her back in the position she's in. But if that position has no relevance, then yeah. Okay. So let's just take stock of where we're at. We can read text. We can execute movement commands with animation delay. What's next is we need the square grid world. And I think that's not going to be too hard to do, because I think what we end up with is some kind of array in memory, possibly a two-dimensional array, and each element of that array has certain information. So each element of that array is going to be a node, and the node has its actual position in coordinates, like its XY position in coordinates, so you know where you're going to move to. And those become the chicken targets for movement. It will also have information about what type. I should be writing this down. We store it all in a 2D array. Oh my god, do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? This is a Comp 1511 assignment. That's what this is. Storing stuff in a 2D array and then moving around the 2D array and changing properties. It's a 1511 assignment. This is exactly the way that I would have written 1511 assignments and stuff like that. This is like so funny. Anyway, okay, we store it all in a 2D array. Each node in the 2D array has properties. Exact location in pixels. Yeah, right, Mitchell. It's such a 1511 assignment. Like, but like that's why I did use stuff like 2D games in 1511 assignments, because it was that same kind of thing. It's like, okay, just move to an index, read some data from there, write some data. Or can you go along a row and process information in turns that's iterating over it and stuff? So I can't escape. It's so funny. Like everything I do is just going back to like, there is no code. There's no coding beyond 1511. Everything in 1511 is it, and we don't go past it. Okay. So each node has an exact location in pixels. Imagine someone pinching this for the assignment. That would actually be kind of funny. I mean, it's not like we didn't. This is one of the ideas that I had for a 1511 assignment, where we were going to do it, and then we realized that it didn't. It nearly, but didn't quite tick all the boxes, because I have these, like, I have a set of specific requirements for 1511 assignment. So I'm sure it's different now. I'm sure they're more nuanced, but I had this thing where it's like, students must learn how to iterate over an array in this assignment. They must learn how to like read and write things. They must learn how to like process through things, you know, like little things like that. I can't even remember it all. It's been a few years. But I had the idea of like CS Dungeon, where you would actually do a dungeon crawl where you move around and you pick up items, and then those items go into your inventory. Your inventory, of course, is another array that you're going to like sort through and stuff like that. And then you'd use those items to solve things. Then you go down to the next level of the dungeon, you get a new dungeon, you go again. And then it would probably end up being like a kind of a playable game. But I'm not sure what happened, but I think it ended up being the types of work that I thought people would do to get the dungeon to be successful. There was too much work that wasn't specifically the competency, in a sense, the thing that you need to learn to be able to code with these code structures. There was too much busy work on the side, which is fun and makes the game, but doesn't teach you how to code. So it was like, yeah, got to be careful with it. You always thought Dig Dug would be a really good Comp 1511 assignment. That would be super interesting, because you'd have this thing where you're digging, and then every state you're in, you'd have to analyze. Like, so you got to loop through all of the cells and then analyze whether this is an unstable state, and then resolve it. So does a brick, does a rock have to fall, or does the digger have to fall, and stuff like that? I think that would be really interesting. Just like every move that's made, you've got to scan the entirety of the field and then decide if anything needs to change automatically. Oh wait, 2511 has a dungeon. Ha! I wonder if it always did and I just didn't know that, or it has it now because people who were tutoring for me when that discussion happened ended up in 2511. Who knows? Okay, So each node has these properties of exact location in pixels for chicken to move to. Um, information about what type of space it is. Let's give some examples. Movable, bench top, stove, eating area, customer seating. Lots of questions here. So, but I mean, like these, we don't have to be sure of these. These will come to light as we design the actual gameplay. Okay, information what type of space it is. Movable objects. They haven't changed the dungeon game assignment for years, so who knows? Oh, maybe it was before. Maybe it was before and I just didn't look at it. Although it has been many years. Last time I taught was 2021. So the students I taught have probably nearly all left UNSW by now, and they're floating around the industry. The time where I was thinking about a dungeon thing was like 2019. So we're talking 6 years ago, even longer if it was early 2019. Maybe they could have kept an assignment for 6 years. If the subject matter doesn't fundamentally change, you don't really have to change your assignments. I used to rotate mine a fair bit though. And anytime we returned to assignment that we used, because like if I have 4 assignments, then it takes more than a year before I go back to it. But every time I went back to the subject matter of a previous assignment, I had to change a lot of things so that someone can't just copy paste from someone else's assignment from previous years or something like that and still pass or anything. Movable objects that might be in the space, and the ability to pick up and put down objects. So I think that's a lot of extra stuff, but it's actually a good point. This is a good point to actually take a rest. This is a good point to say, okay, this is this stream, and we have finished this stream where we've got a processing engine for things, and we have a plan for the world. And so next time we'll build the world, and then when chicken moves, it's not just going to be generic movement. It's going to be move from the position from this exact location that you're in to the next exact location that you're in. And I've got an idea about what the kind of architecture of this is, because it's just a 2D array with this in it. And it can be really kind of explicit. We can set up the restaurant, like going back to, I think that design stream that I did was actually pretty useful just to get the, hang on. Just to get this idea. And then with this idea, you get the idea of the 2D grid and stuff like that. And so maybe I do some art for this to make it work. So maybe like I take this image and draw it again with layers. So draw it without chicken and the customer. The customer is me, isn't it? Now that I look at it. Yeah. And stuff. And so have those as separate art objects that can then be kind of moved and put into place and stuff like that. Yes. Okay. Mitch is saying, yeah, gonna need some assets for that. Yes, indeed, indeed. But that's okay, cool. So we have like the processing engine for the code side. And also, look, honestly, it's not gonna look like this. This is ugly default text and everything like that. And the later experiments in this will be if we actually use text, or we use some kind of drag and drop commands, and with the implications and of syntax highlighting and other stuff like that. So that's another option there. Oh, sorry. I was pointing at this when I said this is the basic text, which I'm not obviously not going to use. And also the question of are we typing text in here or not? Because I don't see a good reason why we would make people type unless we were really actually using a programming language, in which case stuff gets incredibly complicated immediately. So I don't know if I'd do that. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm glad that we got that bit done because it was just nearly just kind of like, Mark, get into the engine and make something, because I should have learned enough. Although the first like 20 minutes of this stream is me just going, I have no idea how this works, until I started just sort of get a feel for it. And it's like, okay, I remember this. I did learn this. It's just that I learnt it only on Mondays over quite a long period of time. Okay, so we have movement, we have processing of control, and we know where we're going next. So I might wrap it up there and say that is the plan for next week. And I will, yeah, I will sign off here. And then next week, what we'll do is we'll make this, and then we'll have this stuff working in this world. And then we'll start to have the idea of like, go to where a customer is, pick up their dirty plate and bring it back to location 0 where there's a bin or something simple like that, you know? And see what kind of descriptive language we need to get Chicken performing those simple tasks, and see how it goes. All right, I shall wrap it up there. We are starting to actually build stuff, which is kind of fun. All right, see you all soon.